All right, let's talk about something that every single content creator wants to know. How do you get more views without spending all of your time trying to hack the system? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how social media algorithms really work and, more importantly, how you can actually make them work for you.
Does this sound familiar? You pour your heart and soul into making a video, you hit that post button feeling pretty good, and then nothing. Crickets. It gets stuck in what a lot of creators call 200 view jail. It is so frustrating. But what if I told you there's a very specific, almost mechanical reason this happens, and a clear way to break out for good?
You know, the biggest mistake people make is thinking the algorithm is some kind of all-powerful gatekeeper, just deciding who gets to be famous and who stays in the dark. But that's not how it works at all. The algorithm isn't a gatekeeper. Think of it more like a matchmaker. And once you understand how it makes those matches, everything, and I mean everything, starts to click into place.
So let's start with the most fundamental piece of this entire puzzle, the algorithm's one goal.
Every single social media platform, it doesn't matter which one, has one overriding goal: to keep people on their app for as long as humanly possible. Why? It's simple. The more time you spend scrolling, the more ads they can show you, and the more money they make. The algorithm isn't sitting there judging the artistic merit of your video. It's just a tool designed to find the very next piece of content that will keep someone watching. That's it.
So, this is where we come in. If the algorithm is just a matchmaker trying to create perfect pairs, then our job is actually really simple. We have to help it make better matches. We need to give it the clearest, most obvious signals about who our content is for. When we do that, when we help it find the perfect audience for our video, it rewards us with a ton of reach.
Okay, so it all starts the moment you hit post. Let's really dig into what happens in those critical first few moments of a video's life, the journey to its first 200 or so views.
So this is basically the secret life of your post, and it all happens in a flash. Step 1, the digital fingerprint. The AI scans everything: the images, the words you say, the text on screen, your caption. Then, topic mapping. It figures out what your video is actually about. From there, it calculates what's called a fit score, which is its best guess at the perfect audience. And that leads to the most important part, the sample test, which is followed immediately by the verdict. This 5-step process is where the fate of your video is sealed.
And that sample test group, you think it's thousands of people, right? Nope, it's tiny. We are talking about roughly 200 people. The entire potential of your video is basically decided by how this initial, super small audience reacts.
So who exactly are these 200 VIPs? Well, it's not just your followers. In fact, it's mostly made up of non-followers. Think about it. The algorithm already assumes your followers will probably like your stuff. The real test, the data it's really hungry for, is finding out if total strangers will stop scrolling and watch. That's the telltale sign of a video that could go big.
Now, based on how that tiny test goes, one of two things is about to happen. If the data is positive, people watch all the way through, they like it, they comment, the algorithm goes, "Aha, my fit score was right," and it immediately boosts your video to a bigger audience, maybe 2,000 people, then 20,000, and so on. But if the data is negative, the push stops dead in its tracks, and that, my friends, is 200 view jail.
So the billion-dollar question becomes, how do we make absolutely sure our videos pass that critical initial test every single time? Well, that brings us to a strategy I like to call the two-part hijack.
It's really just a simple two-part strategy. First, we need to do everything we can to help the algorithm build a better, more accurate fit score right from the get-go. And second, we have to create content that initial sample group is going to absolutely love, which gives the algorithm all those juicy positive signals it's looking for. Part 1 is all about this idea called audience matching. What this really means is being incredibly consistent. You're making videos about the same topics for the same specific kind of person, your audience avatar, over and over and over again. You have to get intentionally narrow and precise.
And why does this work so well? Because when you're that consistent, you are literally training the algorithm. It learns exactly who your content is for. It stops guessing. So its fit score becomes ridiculously accurate, which means it serves your new video to a perfectly targeted initial audience that is almost guaranteed to love it.
Okay, so we've nailed part 1. We've got the right people seeing our video. Now for part 2 of the hijack, how do we make them actually engage? Well, this brings us to what I call the 4 engagement horsemen.
You see, the content that just crushes that sample test always has 4 things in common. Number 1, it's relevant. It solves a problem or speaks to a desire your viewer has right now. 2, it offers novel information, something they haven't heard a million times before. 3, it has high absorption. This just means it's explained so clearly that anyone can get it. And finally, number 4, easy implementation. The viewer walks away feeling like they can actually do something with what you just taught them.
And hey, here's a little pro tip just for driving more comments, which are a super powerful signal to the algorithm. Don't be afraid to take a strong, maybe even a contrarian stance. Frame your points with conviction. Talk about brands or ideas that people are really passionate about. Remember, a strong opinion, even one people disagree with, drives way more conversation than some lukewarm, middle-of-the-road take.
So all of this leads us to one final, really powerful idea that ties everything together. I want you to start thinking about your content strategy as cake, not icing.
The source material we're looking at puts it perfectly. The only thing that matters is making great videos for a specific avatar. That is the cake. Everything else is the icing. That right there is the core principle.
So let's break that down. What's the cake? The cake is the stuff that actually matters. It's having a focused niche, being obsessed with your audience avatar, great storytelling, and making sure your content hits those 4 horsemen. And the icing? Well, that's all the other stuff people obsess over, finding the perfect hashtags, the magic time to post, the latest caption hack. Those things are, at best, minor tweaks. At worst, they're a complete and total distraction.
So the bottom line is this: stop wasting all your energy on the icing. The algorithm does not reward the perfect hashtag combination. It rewards a good cake. Focus all your effort on the fundamentals of making truly valuable content for one specific person. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own channel. When you sit down to create your next video, are you focused on baking a delicious, valuable cake, or are you just getting distracted by the icing?